we really need to fucking push that.
We're live, by
Okay.
the way. If anybody's
Oh, hi,
watching,
you guys.
leave us a review.
Yeah, please.
I'm pushing it.
No, we're fucking pushing it, dude. So
We're just trying to get this pod to a place where you guys have a name as an audience. You know,
There
we just
is-
want to identify you.
There is stars. I gave
You
it
know,
5 already.
we just want to identify you. There
Sorry,
it is.
I'm interrupting you like I said I wasn't going to do.
There it is.
all right. Are we Gucci?
For Gooch.
All right. We're doing it in unison. And
Yeah.
let's get it. Let's get it.
You do. Let's get it.
All right. Let's get it. All right. Here, let's do this.
Recording in progress.
That backup is there. We'll always have a backup.
I'm
and then we'll
confused. I don't
have
know what the plan is. I'm going to just say, let's just go. We'll see what happens.
We all
Yeah.
unison.
Yeah. Okay, I thought we were going to do like something else. I was like, oh.
Tallulah. That's another nickname for our show.
Tallulah.
We can make a hot sauce.
All right. We're ready. We're recording. Okay, hold up.
That's all right.
This is really good. We're professionals. Okay, we're going for roses. That's not it though. Hold up. Okay, we're pros. Sorry. Okay.
Everything's
Take two.
cool. I
Take
think
three.
it's just me and Evelyn watching right now, so I think it's fine. We have 2.
Dude, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. My name is Mark,
I'm Vic.
I'm Evelyn.
and we are.
Two women
Talk
talking
LA.
LA.
Hey,
We
Alright,
need
needs
some
a little
work.
work.
It needs
Yeah.
some work. Yeah, we'll get there. Let's get it.
let's get
Let's
it.
go.
It's like, we're spicing it up for you guys who are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or however you get your podcasts, or maybe you're tuning in live on YouTube and Twitch at 7:30 on Wednesdays. It's like us wearing sexy lingerie. We're trying something for you, and why don't you want us?
Versace
honestly-
on the floor moment.
Every time we mess something up, I'm just like, that's because we're authentic. And that's how I flip anything, right? Like if I screw something up on the show, that's just us being authentic and real people, you know? That's how I bounce back.
You got it, dude. It's the only way. You gotta
Yeah.
survive.
Otherwise, I don't know what we're going to say.
Oh my gosh, our YouTube chat is popping already. Hi, you guys.
No, like, again, you know what it is, YouTube and Twitch. We're gonna throw it to you and say, YouTube, how loud can you get? And you start screaming. Then we'll throw it over to the Twitch side and say, Twitch, what about you? And we'll say who's winning. It'll be your good vocal warm ups.
I want to see some caps out there, guys. Get crazy.
Okay, it's funny you say this because typing in caps is obviously a faux pas in the email world, and maybe in texting too. I don't know where you are about this, but I feel like I overuse the exclamation mark.
I
don't
love
use
that.
exclamation marks at all.
I'm in there. I'm like, exclamation mark, smiley face, smiley face.
mean, I
I'm
use 'em a
Acapulco
little
in the
bit.
chat.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's cute. You know, like I'm gone.
I will say, hey Evelyn, hey Victor, exclamation mark. Hope you're doing well, exclamation mark, and then I'll end it with the exclamation mark, and I start to be. Then I get cognizant. Then I'm aware because after I use that second exclamation mark, I'm like, I should dial it back in. But then when I end
Yeah.
it, I start thinking, well, I gotta have the same energy leaving this email as I did when I started this email. So then there's an exclamation mark at the end.
I think
That's
you
how I-
can't do 2 in a row. I think you need to stop that. Don't hi exclamation point. Hope you're doing well exclamation point. Hi comma. Hope you're doing well exclamation point. Dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you hit me with 3 in an email, I'm like, okay, it's kind of
It's sus.
chill.
It's weird, dude. What's going
Yeah.
on?
But also like now, because that's been my email game for the last, let's say 3 years, 4 years. If I start dialing it back, are people going to start thinking I'm jaded,
You're gonna think
angry,
you're depressed.
upset?
They won't even notice. They're just gonna be like, one day they're gonna be like, oh wow, he totally sounds normal now instead of the
Yeah.
other
He's so
expectation.
cool now.
Yeah, dude. So cool.
You know what I do that I hate that I notice all the time? I am a total millennial who says LOL or haha at the end of every fucking text message, and I can't stop it. I don't know what to do. Like, I do it
Oh
all the
yeah.
time, and I look at it, I'm like, ugh, but it just happens. Like, I'm like the UK who put X at the end of everything. I feel like that's me. I put LOL or haha, and I don't
Do
laugh
you
that
ever
much.
throw in the LMFAO? That one's
No,
I'm doing all of them. I'm like
it's a,
LMFAO,
I'll do
LOL.
LMAO, I'll do haha, LOL. I don't do RF whatever. Rolling
Yeah,
on the
that's
floor
not cool.
laughing. I don't do that. Rafflecopter, no,
No
no.
ruffles.
But yeah, and I'm trying to stop. I'll notice it. If I type it twice, I'll do a haha and then an LOL. And then after my third sentence, I'm like, what am I gonna LMAO? Like everything has one? No. So then I
Yeah.
have to dial it all back. I have to edit.
Okay,
Yeah.
then let's show our hand here. When are you actually LOLing and laughing when you text that? So like, because for me, I'll say, if I say haha, it's like it was funny to me, but not I'm not guffawing. I'm not chortling out loud.
Hmm.
But if I put the extra H at the end of ha, like at the H at the end, I'm
Then
laughing.
it's funny.
I'm
Yeah.
laughing. I ironically put LOL when I know it's not funny. That's how I operate. It's like, oh, this wasn't funny, LOL. Like, hey man, I got you sick, LOL. And that's how I would end it,
Yeah.
right? But like, haha I thought it was kind of funny. Haha, H at the end, I laughed.
I'm like I use this one on you guys today. If I'm actually laughing, it's bah ha ha. Like I'm like
Ooh.
LOL. Like I'm like bah, like I can't even spit it. You know, like that's when I'm actually laughing. Or LOL, like the repetitive LOLs.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'll LOL sandwich things all the time. Like LOL, it's because XYZ LOL, and then like I'll just send it. There's like 5 typos, and I'm like, shit, I just said LOL twice. But then I go,
Hmm.
lol, that I'll say it. Like I'll say it in real life, lol.
Yeah, I do
And
that too.
then I move on. And that you're right, Vic. We're absolutely millennials for that. I don't think
Yeah.
that
I saw
let
like
us
a
know, you
Reddit
guys.
post about that like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, that's totally me. I do that all the time. I think for me also, LOL, I just throw it in there. I'm not even laughing. I'm not
Yeah.
getting anything when I say LOL. It's more of like it's almost like an emoji. It's just for tone, you know?
Yeah.
Haha, as if I'm actually laughing. But honestly, like when I'm typing a message, I'm never laughing. Like I don't laugh at the things I'm saying usually. You know what I mean? So it's
Right,
like,
but like, well, when you respond to something, do you
yeah.
not let it? So you're see that's the crazy thing. You're putting LOL, but you're LOLing your own joke or your own
Yeah, and that
text.
feels so like shitty to me to be like I'm saying something and then I'm putting LOL at the end of it. Like, who do I think I am? You know?
Okay.
I need to look at myself in the mirror.
So then, do you ever tell the person you're texting you were laughing, like that was funny?
I
You
don't
know
know. I
what?
think I'll
I
say
will
I
do
actually
the
laughed is what I'll type out. That I
yeah,
actually
like
am laughing.
that's what I was thinking.
Like,
Like I'll do the I'm crying. Like I'll do like
mm,
I'm crying or I'll say like I'm dead even
yeah,
though
yeah.
I'm like just actually like laughing.
Okay. Mhm.
I
So
think that's
interesting.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people in the chat, show us how you actually laugh. So when you actually laugh, you'll put it in the chat going forward. And if you're guffawing with us in the car, then email us to liveandtalkandla@gmail.com and tell us how
While
you
you're
laugh.
driving. Yeah, send the message.
I see Graffincher in there with the boo ha
Wahaha.
ha. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wahaha.
like that's a good. I don't usually add the B in there. It's or the U. It's literally just bah ha ha when I write it.
See,
And if it's in Spanish, it's with a J, not an H.
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, ja ja ja.
Well, Bahaha is kind of like that's funny. Bwahaha, it sounds like you're Count fucking Dracula.
Sounds evil. Yeah. To
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
that's
like,
like,
Mwahaha.
that's a villain laugh.
I'm gonna start saying mwahaha.
yeah.
I like
Mhm.
that one. Mwahaha.
I don't know if this is a thing for you, Victor, but my goal is to make Evelyn laugh on the show. I feel like
I
an
love making
Evelyn
everyone
laugh
laugh.
is like a fucking you have to earn it. She doesn't give out gimmies.
Yeah.
But I'm always stuck like this, like
She's
with
a
a
good vibe. She's
smile. I was
always
like,
smiling. Yeah.
She's smiling. I'll give you that. She's polite.
Vic got a good one in. If you guys haven't caught our reel from this week on Insta, I snapped a little screenshot from last week when we were talking about bad sleeping habits. But I remember I wrote it down in the moment because I was cackling so hard. So that really means that we
I
did a good
know.
one.
That's
You
why
guys make
I
me
love
laugh.
that. I love
I
Throw it
that.
in the
brought.
chat, put it on live, do whatever it is, email it to us. I will love to cackle on live for you guys.
That's the reason why I mentioned it because of the way you laughed, and I was like, I'm a little jealous, dude. Like I need that moment in my life. Ooh, this is a good one too because this is a really good one. Spooky from League of Ridiculous Conversations. You can find on Tuesdays on 7 on Twitch TV, www.twitch.tv/LORC podcast.
All
We
right,
got there.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, we made it.
He is a grin or maybe a chuckle. Haha is an actual laugh. I actually never use LOL. I say
Interesting.
I take he as like a oh we're flirting. Like
Is
we're
that
flirting.
he or heh? I always have
You know, it's funny because I
Okay.
do it like heh when I'm like heh. For the
Yeah.
he part, I'll do tee he. Like I'll do
Oh,
tee.
you won't catch me dead typing tee. That's somebody else. If I ever send you tee in a text message, call the police because that's not me, dude.
Mhm.
Mark, you ever tee?
I'd never tee.
Oh,
I
I
don't
tee
think
he
we're
all
allowed
the
to.
time.
Yeah,
You
Maybe
yeah.
can
it's a girl
tee.
thing.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
think
tee
so.
he, like I did a thing, you know?
Yeah, that's
I,
funny.
I one of my goals, like when you work with me or like you're with me for long periods of time, um, there's a couple of things I do. One of them is I picked this up during COVID. When I was working at home by myself because we were living through unprecedented times and I worked at home. I was by myself. My parents weren't here with me, and the Guatemalan we weren't living together, so I'd be just at home on my computer, and I would give myself Tourette's, so I would just start yelling out "sex" like, really loud, and I brought that to work
Hmm.
with me. So
Mm.
that's kind of a problem. So like I'll be sitting when it's dead quiet and I don't like it, and I just yell "sex." But then the other thing is I'll do really random shit to kind of throw people off. And I remember getting in the elevator and someone made a joke, or I made a joke, and then when I laughed, I was like, and it threw
That's
everybody off.
disturbing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
Type that into the chat. I don't even know how you spell that.
it's okay. Let's see.
There's got to be some
All right,
G's in there or something. There's like a
yeah, like I did like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
No, there's no G in there. No.
That's
Or you're
exactly
doing
it.
the
It's a
when you
Muttley
hyphen it, it
sound.
sounds like a
yeah,
silent G.
yeah. Phonetically, I'm doing that. But I remember
That's
doing,
bizarre.
yeah, it was a really random one, and it really caught everyone off guard because like, what the hell? And that was me doing a different type of laugh. But see, when I see he like or he he, we're flirting.
Interesting. Everybody's on a
That's
different.
Yeah.
Everybody's on. A lot of people here are saying
Whoa.
flirting is just emojis. Emojis are flirty. I
I
don't know.
totally didn't even factor those in for a minute, but like I think Mark uses the cat laughing emoji.
I
Yeah. What
do
the
when I'm
fuck,
actually.
dude?
That says you adopted that from Gen Z because you wanted to be one of them. Isn't that true?
Well, actually, you know what? There was a time where when I was texting in the T9 era, because I'm fucking old, you
I love
motherfuckers.
T9. I miss T9.
I never used emojis, and when I was in AIM, I went through a whole like I stopped using emojis, and then all of a sudden I thought the laughing emoji was just so funny. I was like, oh, I like that, so I use that. After a 10-year hiatus from using any type of emoticons, because before emojis, they were emoticons, people. Gather around a campfire as Grandpa Mark will tell you things. Emoticons were real. And emoticons were really special because, like, you really had to go out of your way to type it out. Because
Do
if it
you
was.
mean like colon parentheses? Oh,
Yeah.
I use that bad boy all day,
Colon
every day.
uppercase D is my favorite face of all time. I still use that shit, even
Dude,
with
XD?
emojis.
Okay.
XD?
Oh, and colon
I
big
see.
O too. Like that's better. That's better than the O emoji. It's better
Okay,
to me.
I love that. Colon big O.
Yeah.
so how does colon capital D look if we were to make that face right now?
What? It's happy.
It's not, but that's like forced happy, like. "Yee."
No, it's
Yeah.
a D.
Yeah.
D. All
Well,
right,
you can do teeth or no teeth, but yeah, I think it's like a, you know.
this is why you watch the show.
Oh, that's a good one too, Javi. The O eyes.
Ooh. Dude, the
Ooh.
ooh woo? What about the ooh woo?
Yeah.
You know the one that's like
Ooh, woo.
the one that looks like the
I
little.
want to
I
go
know
in the
we're starting to get
chat
into symbols
so I
there,
can
but
type in my favorites because it's hard to.
See, that's but I don't know. Like I think if okay, we should bring back emoticons.
I
We
use them
Let's just
still.
start doing
Ooh,
it.
no,
that's a
but
good
like,
one
but
too.
if you put that into your phone, your smartphone, because I know like we accept all smartphones here, Apple, Android. If I think if you manually type out the emoticon, it turns to an emoji by default.
I hate that. I
I,
change it back.
Mine don't.
Oh, mine does that. It's
Samsung
because you're a
baby.
fucking yeah, exactly. That's got to be some
It's
galaxy thing.
probably a setting, bro, but they give you the default because Apple users tend to want the emojis.
They just assume I'm basic and I want to send a happy face. No,
Not me.
it's
not
because
this guy.
because he's a Samsung girly.
Samsung girlies, we're the best girlies. Are we? There's like nobody that will ever agree with that in the
I don't
chat.
know any
Thanks,
other
guys.
ones besides you and my mom.
My whole
These are the only
family
Samsung
uses
girlies I know.
Androids.
All right, it's time for me to get my soapbox here. Like I
Okay.
will fuck you, fly. I am okay with people using Android. And this happened to me a long time ago. And like when people come into the Apple store and I used to work, they're like, "I have an Android. Am I allowed here?" I'm like, "I don't even want to be here, dude. So I don't care. Like, please, just let's move on with the transaction." But every time I would tell people I worked at Apple, it was always that same conversation. And it was when I first met the Guatemala, and it was like a family friend or something, and we started to have this conversation. And like I was I will never say like I'm not having this conversation, bro. I'm like, okay, if you want to take the conversation there of Apple versus Android, let's do it, because I will entertain this conversation. And he said, like, yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time. I just like Android because like it's just harder to use. And I sat there and I was like, in what world do I ever sit in my life and say, you know what, like I just wish things were harder to use in life and to navigate through. I will give you like Androids did this, Androids do that. I will get like those are all valid reasons. But when your dumbass reason is it's harder to use and it makes me feel like important, I was like, dude, no. This is the worst conversation. I ended it there. I was like, okay, like there is no combating like, how stupid that statement was.
It's not even
Agreed.
a good one.
It's
Like
not.
it's not even an attempt at a good one.
It's not, but he's used it before because he pulled a quick
Mm,
draw McGraw. Like it was like his
mm.
it was like his big move. Like to tell me how much harder it was to use it. And I'm like, okay, dude.
I don't think
I
there's
don't
a lot
know.
of people out there like that though. That like willingly use
There's
things
him.
because they're difficult. I don't think that's real.
Yeah,
That
I
guy's just
don't. I
weird.
actually find the iPhone more difficult. And I don't know if that's just because like I foundationally have always had like a Samsung or some other kind that was not an Apple device. But when I go on an iPhone, I'm always like, how do you go back or how do you get to that thing? Or like where I'm like, why isn't there just an arrow that says back? Like sometimes it's in the left of the screen, sometimes it's in the bottom. So I'm like, can you just go back? And then you can't find your windows. And then I ask Apple users, I'm like, okay, now open up that like all of your tabs so you can go back to your previous tab. And they're like, what? I don't know how to do that. And I like Google it. And then it's like you swipe up from the bottom and I'm fucking doing the thing and it's not doing the thing. And then it's
Mm.
like, but you might have the setting off. And I'm like, I'll flip the table emoji, like we see in the chat. Thank you, Third Eye Portal. That is me. I just like my Android. It's simple to me, but I don't feel like I need to go in and defend that, Like when people are like, "Oh," like people give me so much heat for having an Android, and I'm like, "Wow, I really just I like it, and I will never change." And I just like sit and wait.
I feel like we're
And I'm like,
past it though. People are more chill
yeah,
about that now, I think. No? Oh. Well, I'm more
No.
chill about it.
yeah.
I used to get a little annoyed. Now that you can send them text messages and they don't look like shit, I'm like, okay, that's fine. The
I don't know
technology
about
got
that.
there.
I don't know about that because it give you behind the like behind the curtains. Sometimes I'll text videos to you guys and I have to like resend it 5 times,
Yeah.
and it's because of the disconnect in our smartphone language.
My board game group chat is all fucked up too. Like it's sometimes my messages don't go through. It's very annoying actually. But anyways, whatever. Look
Well,
at
since
us.
we're on the topic,
Yeah.
should
Hmm.
we kind of started accidentally with some toxic traits there.
Hmm.
Should we dive into some more? I know that was on our agenda for today.
Yeah, so I wanted to it, it's toxic traits, or it could even be like mask like toxic masculinity or feminine thoughts. And I was thinking about it today because I was the other day, and I was like, I don't think you're a guy, like you're a true man, if you can't rip 10 push-ups right away. And I feel like, I know we're in a place where like, what is a man? And like, can we really define that? And like, you know, masculinity looks different. And as someone who can't fix a car because I'm not very handsy, I can die on the hill that I think as a dude that's able-bodied, you should be able to do 10 push-ups, and if not, you're not a dude.
What say
Is
you,
that
Vic?
toxic? Because I don't even work out, but I feel like 10 is like it's a pretty low barrier to entry. Like I could do
It is.
10.
You could do 10.
You can
I
do
can
that.
I can do 10.
You
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I can't even do one
Yeah,
in my life.
You're a chick, dude. It's all good.
Again, this is for the thoughts of like as a
Yeah.
dude, like, because when I look around, I'm like, dude, I was like, I don't think this guy can do 10 push-ups, and I start to size him up. I'm like, that's not a dude, and I will die on that hill. I'm like, if you can't do 10 push-ups as a guy who is able-bodied, because I will put that as a qualifier, is to make sure that I'm inclusive here.
I do think that is a toxic trait.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
it's a toxic masculine thought. So that's sort of like I
Yeah,
would go with
like
that.
for me, I'd be like, do you have a toolbox? Like third eye
Third eye
portals.
portal.
Kind of thing. Like I literally had to go whip out my toolbox in the garage to like fix a cat tower or a cat scratcher earlier today. And I had the literal thought, I wonder if Mark knows what these tools are called because we've talked about how I'm like the handyman of my house before.
Yeah.
And you said, I don't touch that shit. Like I'm calling somebody else to come hang something on my wall, basically.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting thought, Victor. I don't know if you have this. Do you? Because I have a toolbox, but it's not something I bought. This thing has been handed down. Like I wouldn't say it's handed down because my dad bought it in the 1980, in the 80s from Sears.
Yeah.
And
Quality.
tools don't really devalue unless you're shit tools, right? Like a hammer is a hammer at the end of the day. I'm sure.
Yeah, I read somewhere.
Yeah.
I think
Do you
I
have, do you
I haven't
have
seen
good
one
tools,
recently.
Mark? Do you have good tools, you would say? It's pretty good stuff?
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay.
I would have it. But like
Do you know what
where
to
it is
do
right
with
now?
them?
You just say he's just talking.
He's like, I just have them. I'm gonna hand them down
Yeah,
to the next person in my lineage. That's cool.
Yeah, I have a tool bag. Works about the same. It's actually
Yeah.
got more space. It's not as rigid. It works. I'm not like looking to build shit with my hands just for fun. But also this might be a toxic guy thing. I'm way too like stubborn to like pay someone to do it because I'm like, no, I can figure this out. Like I will try to figure anything out and probably frustrate myself and make it worse than if I just paid somebody, but I will figure that shit out for most things.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's like really expensive or it's like way too much trouble, but to hang something on the wall, I'm like, nah, I'll just research on YouTube for 2 days. And then,
Did I tell you
Like,
guys that I
whatever.
changed my own side mirror on my car because I didn't want to pay somebody to do it? I opened the interior of the door of my vehicle and unplugged shit and unscrewed stuff. I'm you. I'm not toxic trait. If
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for it, I'm not paying for it. I'm doing it myself.
I'll do it the hard
That's
way.
it.
Yeah.
So you're not a man, Mark.
So
That's
your
it.
windows don't go down anymore, Evelyn, or is it all
They
good?
do. They do.
Oh, well,
It's
nice.
all good,
You
dude.
did a great job. Fuck it.
I don't call me for your next mechanic gig. But just know that I did that. That's it.
Okay, me not knowing where my toolbox is not being less of a man.
I disagree.
You can't claim this toolbox if you don't even know where it is, dude.
What color is it, Mark?
It's red and metallic. It's like
That's-
rust red.
That's the default toolbox color. You're just making it
how
up, dude.
convenient, huh? Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I'll
We
give
need to
you
post
guys-
a picture on a story, dude, of your
Okay,
toolbox. That's what I think.
Yeah, we need to see it.
Prove
If
it.
you want to,
You have 24 hours to find it, or you lose your man card.
I'll find it. My dad is a hoarder, and he's back living with me, so I don't know where that is. There is that, but I will look for it. You know what you should do?
Blame it on the dad.
No, bring your toolbox, Victor or E, and then you'll hold them up to the camera and you'll quiz me, and we'll see how many I can get. Because if I think that's
In the
gonna be-
chat, do you know what a Phillips screwdriver is?
Yeah, it's a screwdriver and has Phillips on the side.
It's made by Philips, the brand.
So like, I
Do
don't
you
know.
know what an Allen
Yeah,
wrench
yeah,
is?
for sure.
Yeah, it's a wrench,
What does
and
it look like? What shape is an Allen wrench?
You're getting
it's
roasted out
a
here.
yeah, dude. It's looks like this. It
No man card.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let
It's
me
like
tell you guys my one of my toxic traits
let's
that
do
we
it.
kind of were hitting on a little bit earlier, I
Sure.
think.
Mhm.
It's fine or I'm fine. Um, when there are two scenarios where this is happening. If
Mhm.
you have a significant other and shit is not fine, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "Don't worry about it, it's fine," or "I'm fine." I'm
Yeah.
that bitch. I will do that.
Oh, me
Mhm.
too.
The other scenario is when shit is a dumpster fire and everybody's like, "How are you doing? Like, do you need help?" I'm like, "I'm fine, it's fine." I'm an it's fine. That's one of my
Mm.
toxic traits. I say it's fine when it's probably most definitely likely not fine.
Oh. Well,
That's forgivable though, because I don't want to air
ha-
out. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to air out all my shit. If somebody asks me, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, not bad." Honestly, it's probably bad. But it's like I don't want to say bad. Then they're like, "Oh fuck," like what? Then what do you say? And then the
yeah.
conversation's terrible. It's like I'm not gonna say that. But I think,
Mhm.
is there any difference between saying like not bad and oh good? Right? You say fine. That's like super neutral. That's right down the middle. I think not bad is like I'm hiding something.
Yeah,
Good.
that's true.
Who says that?
Well, okay, because E gave two different perspectives. One
Yeah.
is you're fighting with your boo thing,
Sure.
and he's like, "Babe, what's wrong? I'm fine." That is toxic. That is fucking toxic, and I can't stand that. I think that, like, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Leave me alone," and then we leave you alone, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, "Why weren't you talking to me?" And it's like, you told me to fuck, like, you wanted to take a fucking break and separate to our different corners. I'm giving you that space. So like that's I appreciate you for saying that because that's fine.
I
The
am
other part,
evolving. I'll give myself an out and say that I now like I'll start with it's fine, I don't want to talk about it. Right?
Mhm.
I'll say like I don't want to talk about it. And then that's a clear like maybe you just need room to breathe with your own thoughts. He's in the chat right now. Definitely not fine. Um
The red
sorry,
alarms.
worldwide handsome.
Funny.
but like when it
Sorry.
comes to like, hey, like, pleasantries, you're working with someone, it's, how's it going? It's like that's the default thing. It's like
Yeah.
back to I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
When they greet people, how do you do? And it was never like, well, and then actually, like, Ricky backhanded me today, and I'm feeling terrible because I have a concussion. It was like, how do you do? That's how it is. So like, I give you a pass on that one, E. That's
I
fine.
like that one. Maybe I'll just start saying
I
that.
want to
How do you
defend
do?
her though first because saying I'm fine, I just did this 2 days ago. Okay, perfect example. You know who annoyed me in like 3 or 4 different ways. She picked up on it. She knew, right? And she's like, "Are you cool? Are you mad at me?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine." Right? Because I just wanted to bury it. I know tomorrow it's not gonna matter. Like for me, if I get bugged about something, I know it doesn't fucking matter, and I'm just kind of a grump sometimes. So I just want to let it
Mhm.
go. And then when I wake up in the morning, I'll play some video games, go to work, have a bagel, and then I'm fine. And it doesn't even, it's like it never happened, right? But then she came back home and was like, "Hey, so what's up? Are you mad at me? What's going on?" And I'm like, "No, dude." And then we had to go into the whole thing, right, and tear it all open. But I'm like, I didn't even want to talk about it. That's why I say I'm fine because this is not going to matter 24 hours from now. You know?
I'll do that sometimes. I'm not that advanced just yet. Most of the time it's like it's not fine. But there
Okay.
are some times where I'm like, no, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Like whatever, you know. But
Okay.
also I was cracking up because I saw this in our YouTube chat when we were talking about the tools. Somebody threw it back and said, "Mark, why didn't you say that the Allen wrench is a wrench that Allen, the brand Allen made?" And it says Allen on the side to match
Oh,
your. That would have been a good one,
Alan.
man. You're still
Yeah.
but
working on it.
I mean
Um,
that's revisiting the Phillips thing, which is
that's
actually,
why.
yeah,
Because you
I
got to keep
know.
it fresh.
No, too
Yes,
much. Got
and
it.
yes, and like new line. Yeah, I have to just remember Victor, new line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. New line, new line. That was the
Yeah, new
best exercise of them all, I think.
line.
I just want to
Can you?
call out in the chat too. Graphiture says when I say I love you, people ask what's wrong. That's fucking funny. I don't really have much for that, but I feel like I'm that
That's a
same way.
toxic trait. That's
If I tell
funny.
someone I love them, they're like, "What's going on with you?" Right? So
I
That just
think
means you've set some expectations, if you ask
Yeah,
me.
I guess that's true.
actually that's not a toxic thing for me. But if I tell you I love you, that means something's probably wrong because I don't tell people I love you. I,
Yeah.
I I I feel like it's implied in my day-to-day conversations with you. You're my homie, you're my BFF, whatever. Like I don't say I love you. And if I say I love you,
Never.
that probably means I'm extremely sick.
I don't
I
That's
even
think
say I love you to my
maybe
dad.
that's
I
your
don't even. I
toxic
don't say
trait.
that.
You guys
I don't
don't
say I
say I
love you.
love you. I don't. We don't really say it to my family, like the actual real I love yous. But like to
Mhm.
my friends, I'll be like, "Oh, I love you," like.
Yeah,
But
but
that's just it's just
that doesn't
girly,
matter. Yeah,
girl
people
e
don't.
things,
People don't.
you know.
That's like tea. Like you just throwing it out there. It doesn't matter.
All right,
Honestly,
give me another toxic trait. I want to hear
okay.
more.
Here's a toxic masculine thought I had too. I was walking through the mall. I don't think it's okay when two guys are eating ice cream from a cone. The same cone. No, no. When I see two guys like just walking, eating ice cream, I think that's soft, dude. I don't like that. It's
Like
weird.
two separate
Fuck.
guys walking with ice cream cones, not
Yes.
sharing one.
Yeah. Sharing
Is
one,
that what
it's
you
hot.
mean?
Sharing one, it's hot. But like, no, I think when two guys are just walking through and they're both eating ice cream, it has to come from a cup. Eating it from a cone is just not
Yeah.
cool,
Well,
dude.
you are toxic. You're a douche, dude. It's so
He
bad.
just walks around going, "You're not a
No
man. You're not a
lollipops
man."
allowed, right?
Like I mean, honestly, like you're walking with your homie, me and Victor, we're going somewhere
Just licking, talking, watching each other lick. Yeah.
like that shit is soft, bro. Like I was like, no, dude, eat the ice cream from a cup and a spoon, like a fucking
Yeah,
regular
dude.
person. Just watching you tongue this thing is it's just unsettling to me. And like
You
I feel like
know,
eating ice
think
cream with a cone with when you're on a date has sexual connotations as it should. Like I just don't think unless you two dudes are banging, you guys shouldn't be doing it.
so when you're out with your boys, I can't get a cone. I'm a cup
Not
guy, but I'm just making sure because you're gonna look at me funny if I get a cone, is what you're saying.
if I get a cone and you cannot get a cone.
oh,
Oh,
only
so now it's a
one of you
race.
can have a
One.
cone.
Yeah, you
No,
better
that's not
order
right.
first.
Oh, so it has to be a pair. A
If you
singular cone
Mhm.
is okay,
Yeah.
but two dudes just licking cones and looking each other in the eyes is not okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, that clarifies it a little bit.
Mm.
Because I was about to say, there are so, like, McDonald's cones, you gotta have a DQ cone. Like, you can't say cones aren't allowed, but you mean cones in male pairs specifically, non-gay male pairs, presumably.
Nah.
If they're gay, it's cool. If they're not, something's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, look,
Okay.
all inclusive. If you guys are like gay and you're into each other, that's cool, man. But two like dudes who are like hanging out,
Two
nah.
That's the
cis
shit.
dudes walking down the street, only one can have a
No, just
cone.
me and
Max
Victor.
capacity.
Okay, me and Victor are walking. Let's start licking our cones right now.
Honestly, I'm disturbed that I even had to hear that. So maybe that's your toxic trait, the sound you make when you fake like a cone.
Yeah.
No.
I guess I have one. Mine are food related as well, though. It's just like, and I don't know if this is like a male thing. I think it's just me being toxic and judgy, but I think that kind of fits. I don't trust people who drink diet soda. I think people who drink diet soda, I'm like, something wrong with you, But particularly the diet soda, no caffeine. I'm like, that's
Ugh,
soft, dude.
what do you even go drink sparkling
Yeah,
water at that rate?
live your life. Like, I think, and again, this just comes back to me. Like, I like to buy a 12 pack of Coke, and I'll have one like one a day, like one every other day, probably at one can. And that's like my little pleasure at home that I have, right, in my, apartment. But like, I'm not gonna trip on drinking. How much soda are you drinking? You need to drink diet soda. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
There's an entire
That's me.
cult for diet
Yeah.
diet soda.
I
I
know.
also don't understand it. Like I don't know what that fixes. I have it and
It's gross.
it tastes like it lingers in the back of my mouth and I'm always like, I don't love that. But I'm not hating on it like that. Like
I
I'm just
do.
like certain people like they're a hybrid version of a human being.
This is gonna sound bad when I see a dude like Mark is saying. I see two dudes drinking Diet Coke. I think they're gay. I think they're gay. I don't know what else to do. I don't know. I'm sorry. And I am
You
all
know,
inclusive as well. I'm inclusive. I'm just saying, oh, there they are. You know?
huh. It's rare to see a cis man drinking a diet soda. I will say that.
I think I made enemies in the chat. Third Eye Pearl's already like, what about Coke Zero? He's trying to thread the needle. Like,
Yeah,
I'm cool.
I don't like Coke Zero, dude. Like if okay, you in the chat are allowed to drink a Coke Zero. Do not ever sell me on the fact that Coke Zero tastes exactly like Coke, because that's fucking bullshit. Like
Right.
I will happily accept the fact this is your drink. I will not accept the fact that this tastes exactly like Coke, because we know goddamn well it doesn't.
Yeah, don't gaslight me into telling me this tastes the same. This is the argument with my parents. I love my parents. They get a pass because they brought me into this earth. They're Diet Coke people. Fucking all day.
That's why you
Diet Coke
hate it,
people.
Vic.
It tastes so
That's
bad.
why.
And they'll be like, oh, here's a diet or here's a zero. It tastes the same. No, it does not. And I think, you know what? If you stuck me in a cave and all I got to drink for the next 2 years was dirty floor water or whatever, yeah, I'd get used to it. You know what I mean? You get used to it and it would taste fine. Or you would be able to drink it. But I think for me to go from a fresh, clean ass diet like Disneyland Coke at the best, it's like the elixir of life, and try to get me to drink a fucking Diet Coke.
Dude, I think I'm a Coca-Cola
me.
purist. Like, I think Coca-Cola is, maybe that's my toxic trait. I think it's a wonderful trait. I think it's my favorite. It's the only dark soda that I'll allow, even. I don't want root beer. I don't want Dr. Pepper. Nope. I don't want Pepsi Cola. I don't want anything. I am a Coca-Cola purist.
Sure.
On ice.
I don't know where Dr. Pepper is a very interesting soda to me. I love Dr. Pepper, by the way, but it's like this weird free agent
Spooky's
that
right.
moves from different universe to different universes, because you can be at a place where they serve Coke only products and Dr. Pepper's there. Then you'll go over to Taco Bell and their Pepsi products and Dr. Pepper is there. How does Dr. Pepper thread the needle and become like a Nexus soda? It exists in both realms.
He's like a free agent, dude. Yeah, he
Does
just
it?
what
It's
he
a
wants.
Pepsi product.
You can get it all over the place, though.
You can get it at a lot of places that serve only Coke products. It's just there. Like Dr. Pepper, I think is fucking goated. Is like I love Coke, a Coke purist for sure, but I will always throw down on a Dr. Pepper, and it just happens to be there. I don't know how they do it.
Is Dr. Pepper a Pepsi product?
Shout out RC. I don't know where it stands. It's like 7-Up. They're like Rogue.
And they just
I don't
they
know.
just
Oh,
load-
because it's owned by Keurig, you guys.
Dr. Pepper?
That's why you'll find it
This
at
is
both.
crazy.
It's owned by a separate company, Keurig Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
Switzerland of the soda world.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're chill.
That's tight.
This is why you listen to Live and Talk in LA, because you start to hear the real news. Is Dr. Pepper's owned by Keurig. I could have died yesterday and not ever know that, but now I know.
It might
because
not
of
be
you.
the same Keurig, like asterisk. It could be like Keurig Dr. Pepper. I don't know if that's a hybrid
That could mean
thing.
Pepsi in Dutch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea, but
Yeah.
I'll give you guys an added similar kind of, we'll keep it in somewhat of a food territory. Additional toxic trait, not just me. Probably I'm speaking for all the girlies here. It's a girl math moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's different when I buy $150 worth of clothing, excuse me, versus $150 worth of food. I will drop $150 at a restaurant, right? Like during on a weekend, like I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, Din Tai Fung is expensive. What are you gonna do? Maybe I hit
Gotta
like
pay.
Japanese barbecue. I'm like, yeah, I know that's pricey. We're at all you can eat. Like it's fine. Like I can drop down. I'll be like, yeah, this one's mine. But if I'm not going out and buying $150 worth of clothes, but I'm that person that's still like, man, I really should like level up my wardrobe. But I can't fathom spending $150 on clothing because I already have clothing. But food is just the elixir of life.
You know,
So yeah, I'll spend that. That's one of my toxic traits. They're not the same, even though they're both $150.
I feel you though. The thing is, I love food, and you guys know it because I talk about food the most out of everybody here. But when I spend a lot of money on food, I actually feel bad, right? But when I'm gonna buy, like I spent $400 on my speakers in the living room, and I was like, I'm gonna have these forever. I use them every day, right? Like, and I will totally justify buying electronics or things that I will spend a lot of time on. Doesn't matter. I'll buy all that stuff. I buy a camera, whatever. But food, if I'm at a restaurant now, I find myself getting the cheaper option because I'm just like, it's gonna come and go so fast, And I know, but But I like to splurge here and there. But it's like I'm starting to feel more like buy for life type of stuff. And clothes, I don't really care about clothes, but like electronics, that's where I spend my money.
Yeah, I'll spend that. I'll spend that too. I guess I'll girl math that. $150 of electronics is still it's more viable than $150 worth of clothing for me. I don't know. Maybe I don't value fashion enough.
It just
That's
depends
my
on your
toxic trait.
priorities. You're toxic.
I
You
mean,
got toxic
girl math.
priorities.
Girl math, I
Hmm.
think by design is toxic.
Or is it enlightening?
Oh, it's enabling, so it sounds like.
I
Yeah.
also want to throw it back real quick for a millisecond because I saw this one in the chat. Is it okay if what the two cis men that are walking licking ice cream cones are father and son?
Totally
Spooky the
cool.
13th bought his dad an ice cream cone at a car show, and then he felt like that was paying him back and having a moment. That's okay, right?
Wait. No. Follow-up question. How old is the son?
Well,
Is he an adult man? Then it's not
Spooky's an
okay.
adult man,
Yeah,
and he took his dad, who's an adulter man, to get an ice cream cone at a car show. We don't like that?
How old is the dad? I think is if the dad's really old or the son is young, it's okay. But if they're both in that like adult middle ground, I think it still doesn't get a pass. Mark, what do you think?
okay. For father son, 6 foot distance, like COVID.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. If you give yourself 6 feet distance to prevent the spread of softness, I think that's okay.
You got to
I-
look and talk about other things too. You can't
Yeah.
look at each other while you're ingesting the cone.
Yeah.
I think.
No
then
eye
it's okay.
contact. It's
Yeah.
only gay if you make eye contact,
It's
Just
not
right?
even
stare
about
at each other.
But okay, but here's the thing. I don't even want to even say like it's gay to do that because saying
Good
gay
call.
is wrong.
Good call.
Hillary Duff told me it's not cool. It's not okay to say gay, and I love Hillary Duff and whatever she says.
She's right.
She's right. She could tell me to join a sleeper cell, terrorist cell. I'm in. She's right. But in this case, she said, "Don't. It's not okay to say gay." So I want to let you guys know that I'm not saying it's gay. I just think it's weird and not okay.
It's just
Dude.
an abomination.
Yeah, it's
Wrong.
yeah. It's not normal, and we should not glorify this. All right, but it's not gay.
We're getting some flack in the chat, but you know what? Credit to us for being honest about this stuff too, Mark. Okay, we came out and we were vulnerable with you guys.
No, this is the whole thing of like owning that thought because as much as loving as we want to be, like we have these thoughts. Like oh yeah, I'll give you one more
I
too.
can be petty. I don't care.
Short
Ooh,
kings
no,
are in the
must.
chat. Short kings are in the chat, and I'm 5'7". I'm not tall by design, no matter how you slice it. What happens though is if I'm standing next to someone who I happen to be taller than, that's a guy, it makes me feel like such a fucking man. My chest puffs up just a little bit, and I just want to wrestle the guy. I just want to put him in a headlock and then like give him noogies and assert dominance because it's not often. It's not often I'm bigger than a guy. And I'm not talking about, oh, I'm like obese compared to this person. I'm like, I'm bigger and taller. I feel like if I was 6'3", I'd be a terrible person. Because life has given me dealt me the short hand, it's made me the cool and respectable and awesome person I am today in front of you. And humble, by the way. But when I see someone, oh dude, like my heart just goes up low. I'm like, I can assert dominance on this guy.
I could take this guy.
The chat is so right about you. I think that your most toxic trait is just that you have fragile masculinity. I'm glad that we're airing this out live with all of you guys. That is you wildin'.
Dude, like Victor's taller than me. He probably feels the same way as he. Like you're like 5'9".
Yeah, but you're like stronger than me, so I don't really think about kicking your ass. But I do like if I think of like if I see some like little runty, like skinny dude who's a little bit shorter than me, sometimes I have that passing thought too, like I could kick this guy's ass if I needed to. I could take him, but I'm non-violent.
Oh, I love that we're all short royalty out here because I stand at a whopping 5'3", my
Hey.
friends.
I'm 5'9". I'm not short. I'm
Right.
average. I'm average.
Sorry,
Get
my
it
bad.
straight.
All
My
right,
bad. My
I,
bad.
I
It's
want to
okay.
also I want to clarify this too. This thing is not fragile masculinity. I think this is at the peak toxic masculinity they can ever get because it's just me asserting dominance on people who are smaller than me.
It's
Because
alpha, dude.
it's alpha. I just alpha talk, bro.
It's also
It's
Omega.
alpha shit,
That is
bro.
the end right there. Like that is it. Well, I'll have a little transitionary moment here.
Sure.
LOL. It seems like Mark may or may not have gotten snubbed in the height department. Who else has gotten snubbed this weekend? Were you guys watching the Oscars? Is that something that we're about on this channel?
There were people in my living room watching the Oscars.
Okay, so it was
I caught
on.
some while I was getting a Coke from the fridge.
The biggest call out that I had and I wanted to check in with Mark about is how are you doing with Ari not winning any Oscars for Wicked? That is the talk of the town in Snub Nation. What's going on, man?
All right. Here's my problem with the Academy Awards is it makes me feel super fucking uncultured because all the movies that win, I didn't even
Never
hear
seen 'em.
about. These were not on my radar until I was watching the TV and saying I don't know what it was. It's called Angola or something. One like best drug.
Honora. I literally
Anora.
had to Google it when I threw it in our notes because I was like, I know that this thing won like everything, and I
Mhm.
didn't even know it was a thing. Like TikTok told me post Academy Awards. I'm with you.
Yeah.
This is the truest essence. Like in a world where we are so dialed into pop culture, and like all these things are winning. That I will say this: I had never saw the movie. It's sure it could be good, but like I don't know what the fuck we're going up against. These like I don't even know how you scale this anymore because like, I know it's like best supporting actress and like Ariana. Like let's take it this way. Let's put on my fanboy Ariana hat. I thought she was great in Wicked, but when she loses to somebody, at least I want to be like, oh, I get it. I get it based on this. I don't get it because I never even heard of the fucking movie, and it's either because I'm dumb and uncultured, or this movie just came so out of left field.
I feel like Wicked didn't really have a good shot of winning because it was just like a remake of something that already exists. No? Like
They
it's
won
not a
something
creative
for
work.
like
Like it will. Okay, let me draw it back. It's
I was like,
creative.
oh,
There's a lot of great costume design, right? There's artistry in
Which
it, but I
which
feel
that
like
one? They won
yeah.
best costume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so it's like that
Mhm.
stuff, sure. Like and the whatever graphics and all that stuff. But I think like for best picture, it's supposed to be something. I mean, there's a lot of movies that are based on books and stuff too. But I just feel like Wicked. I don't know. It feels like it was almost too easy to just make Wicked into a movie because it's like the biggest play that everybody loves, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like to give best picture to Wicked is kind of like okay, I
A lot.
guess. Like, yeah, I don't know.
But
Like
they
then
did they win anything else? I don't know if you guys know. It's okay if we
No,
don't. But
I don't know. But also, like, okay, look, I think Ariana was great in that movie. Does it really deserve Best Supporting Actress? I would say sure because that was the only movie I saw where the Best Supporting Actress are nominated. Okay, whatever. Well, this is what I don't like, and I'm going to argue against this too with Wicked, which is Wicked is broken up into two movies, and they've already finished the second half of the movie. So Wicked Part 2 or whatever is coming out. It's going to be a part of next year's Academy
mm,
Awards by design, unless
yeah.
for some reason it just has a complete fall off, drop off in quality. It's going to be there next year, so it's like they have two chances to get an Academy Award, and it's like I don't think
They're
that's fair either.
probably gonna get neither, to be
Probably.
perfectly
they
honest.
got costume design and production design, which is like I don't know. I think that's the only stuff that this should be able to win, unless they totally went way off from Wicked as it was. But I just don't know that it did.
Like if it was reimagined instead in a
Sure,
different
like
way.
if completely different or some, I don't know, but it just feels like it was kind of just easy. I will say I didn't really watch any of these this year besides Dune, but everybody watched that. I usually try to watch more of those movies, but I haven't really been watching anything this year. I've been kind of movieless.
Same. Like I'm not great at I never know what is being nominated at these things until after the fact, but I still thought it was really interesting. I think what I really like about the Oscars more is more like one, the wardrobe changes to go to the
Mhm.
after party, and then like the shenanigans that happen, the inter-celebrity shenanigans. Like,
That's so funny.
I think Conan like talked shit about Adam Sandler's outfit like 3 times or something, and then Adam Sandler like grabbed Timothy Chalamet or somebody in the face and like said their name and then like walked out because he was in a hoodie and like basketball shorts or
He
something.
looked like shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was a
Yeah,
bit though. I couldn't tell if that was real or not. I
I
can't
don't
ever tell if
know.
this
But I
stuff's
love
real.
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see Adam Sandler in like sweats at
Mhm.
the Oscars.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was very
Well,
comfortable.
that joke is a callback to Nikki Glazer hosting the award show that happened a couple months ago,
What happened?
where she's just roasting people, and she says Timothy Chalamet sounds like something that Adam Sandler would say. Chalamet.
Oh, so that's why he was like,
That's why.
Timothy.
So yeah. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
callback to Nikki Glazer, which I appreciate. Nikki Glazer was a great host for.
Oh.
That's funny.
So like for what was that for? What did Nikki Glazer host? Because there's Academy Awards, which is the Oscars. There's the Golden Globes. What was the
Yeah.
Golden Globes TV? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know what she hosted.
I
But
don't
like,
know, but I know what you're talking about.
but
Somebody throw
Conan,
it in the chat.
Conan, I think is just one of the fucking best people in the world. Like
Yeah, I think
as
he's
a
really
person
funny.
and comedian, I think he's hilarious. I think I don't even
Snubbed
think
in
he's.
his career, man. Snubbed in his
Yeah,
career.
there was a good Jimmy Kimmel joke, which was that Conan did such a good job hosting the awards that Jay Leno's going to do it next year.
Yeah.
Mm.
We've talked about this, I think, a long time ago, but you were actually
Mhm.
the person I think that informed me about all of their dramatics in the background. But that's what I look for when I'm watching those things. I don't really that maybe that makes me uncultured in LA, but like also the Haley Bieber and Selena Gomez being in the same place. I know they didn't talk, but just knowing that they're in the same room and like Selena Gomez is like going up winning things, right? For what is it, Amelia Perez or whatever the show was called.
I gotta
Which
watch that because they say it's the worst fucking thing ever. Like
I
I gotta
have heard
watch it.
that, which is insane that they won so many
See,
awards, but
that's the fucking problem too. Is like everyone was ripping on that movie, and they're like this. It's like it's this white French dude's interpretation of what Mexico is, or something like that, and it wins these awards. And I'm like, what are we judging this on? Like the awards were
Uh,
dead to me when Better Call Saul didn't win any fucking awards for like for TV.
mm,
I
Best
thought that was
supporting
fucking horseshit,
actress.
and they didn't win anything. And that really, I was like, award shows are dead to me until they redeem it. And this award show, in terms of the results, didn't do any better for me. It did not win me over. I
It
think
won
these are
best
stupid.
original song and best supporting actress. So again, you know, not no best picture stuff. No, none of the big ones. Best supporting actress is pretty good, but it's like, you know, she's working with what she got. I need to see that movie though. I'll come back with some notes because I heard it was just terrible and the accents were really bad, just all the way through. But
I'm curious to
we'll have to
hear.
see.
Yeah.
You should
Give
watch
us
it
the
too.
breakdown.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm trying to
haven't seen
watch
it
most of
yet,
these.
so I should, yeah.
Apparently, Anora's a comedy. It's a romantic comedy, so that's pretty easy. I can probably watch that
I'm pretty sure it's
together.
about an exotic dancer.
Ooh, even
Sex
better.
workers. I remember him
Oh,
saying,
sex workers or something.
"Oh,
um,
maybe it is exotic," because I guess you would put them. Would you put a stripper
I
as a
saw a
sex worker?
poll. I saw a poll in that situation. Not necessarily eh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, times two.
Bless you.
Um, yeah, I don't know. There was
See,
something else that happened in the Oscars, and I was like, or yeah, oh, so they didn't win you over, Mark, with the Drake diss?
that was
it was
good.
funny. It was funny. Like Conan, it's really rare for me, like a Conan joke, to really like miss, and that shit hit hard. So
He's
Pretty
good.
direct. He really
Mm-hmm.
just went for it.
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know what? It's funny because we'll always say like, oh, it's a Drake thing, like he's making fun of Drake. It's if you really look at it, it's just a joke, and you don't know if he's ripping on like Drake. It's just topical. I thought it was
Yeah.
a very light joke, but I mean, aside
Keeping
from
it
using the word
contemporary.
pedophile.
I'm still surprised that they just be throwing these terms around like that. But
I
I'm
think
I'm
Drake
still getting my
officially
joy.
lost if they're making pedo jokes about you at the Super Bowl and the Oscars, though, right? Because the Oscars is the most foo-foo of awards and shows and things, I think. So it's like, if it's okay there, it's kind of okay everywhere, I think.
Yeah.
He's in trouble. We'll see how Drake recovers.
If
Yeah, if he ever comes back, I don't know if he's just, gonna just vanish. I wouldn't blame him. He could just go buy an island somewhere and never come back. That's
Drake
fine.
canceled his concert, and like he had some concerts, and then he ended up at WWE's event Elimination Chamber this weekend, which is like a weird like
he was
I
there
don't
for
think he
that,
should be there.
He was there for the
that
biggest
shouldn't be
thing
allowed
ever of
unless he's
John
in the ring.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing. You like Travis Scott?
Not necessarily. No.
So there's a whole thing where John Cena went bad, and he turned heel, and Travis Scott was in the ring because he came out with The Rock, and it's like The Rock
Bro.
he's like a big star, so he has like a rapper with him, and there's a whole thing where The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and he's essentially telling Cody Rhodes join me, and Cody Rhodes is like the super like popular baby face, the good guy. And John Cena's in the ring because he just won Elimination Chamber, and John Cena was the ultimate good guy too. Essentially, The Rock makes the cutthroat in a really weird, exaggerated way, like the Joker, and John Cena turns bad, and Travis Scott and John Cena attack him. Travis Scott actually slapped Cody Rhodes so hard in the head because, like, in wrestling, you want to make it look real, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but wrestling is a little bit staged.
Oh wow!
Dude,
Oh my god!
what?
Yeah,
That's
like,
crazy.
I didn't know that.
The Undertaker, who's on my shirt right now, actually is not a dead man. I don't know if I'm gonna fuck with your brains here.
What?
But Travis Scott, like, essentially slapped Cody Rhodes so hard in the head that he popped his eardrum.
Oh wow! He must have cuffed it
shit.
really bad.
And like he did that. So
Isn't Travis Scott canceled for like a bunch of people's deaths at a concert? Is that
Yeah, that's
right?
what I thought too.
this is how you know cancer culture is fake, dude. Because like this dude was responsible for people dying at his concert, and he incited the riot essentially of like, let's keep going. And he's in WWE.
And now
I
he's
think-
responsible for a busted eardrum? Dude,
Yeah.
I think
Thumbs
wrestling
down.
fans just have a really low bar, you know. I think
Not
they're
for
like,
push-ups.
They don't know about. They don't care about Travis Scott. This is like, that's too high. That's too political and stuff for them. I think they're just like, yeah, whatever, dude.
It's too cool.
Let him in.
Wrestling fans are the worst fucking people in the world. I'll tell you that right now. They're like,
yeah, you are.
yeah, we are. I know. Like it's like Bad Bunny was wrestling WWE, and like all this
What?
stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That was, and there was a whole thing where people were like, "Oh, who is Bad Bunny even?" And it's like, because you're a wrestling fan and don't know shit, and you probably are on the spectrum. Like, this is all you know, and like you don't know Bad Bunny, like big time. So, wrestling fans are stupid.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah, they're Nah, I don't want to shit in a hole at the fan base. I was about to say they're like ex fan base, and it's like I don't want to just take a random shot at that fan base. They don't deserve it.
But you know what? That fan base is surprisingly larger than expected because the amount of people that were pissed online saying that John Cena like switched teams or they don't even know John Cena anymore. Like I was really surprised that people were like forget it. But obviously it's all like people just fucking around and like trying to mess around with the fact that he's switched sides or whatever. He's in the dark side now. But that's funny to me. You guys are weird.
It's a huge deal for someone who prided himself on being the ultimate good guy and broke the record for Make-A-Wish. He's like the Make-A-Wish record holder, like doing all this. And now you can't really do that when you're the bad guy. And it's his last year of wrestling. He's retiring at the end of the year.
Okay, fine. It's NASCAR fans. NASCAR fans are dumb too. NASCAR fans and wrestling fans. I couldn't.
What
keep
about
it in.
golf? What about golf?
Honestly, they're just
that
they're whacking a
fucking-
ball around. I don't know.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
is
They
that?
think they're so fancy. Fuck them too, dude.
Yeah.
Golf clubbing's dumb.
And you
What
know
about baseball? I'm just kidding.
No, hold on. Let's stay on golf here.
Whoa.
Just use regular pencils. Why do we have to use the IKEA small pencils?
Yeah, what's that all about? It's because
Those
they're
are more-
easier for your pocket,
You get
probably.
twice as many pencils, dude. 3 times as many pencils.
Nah, dude. Bring a pencil. Bring 2 pencils, but don't get one. Like, don't get mini pencils. I don't like that.
Yeah, true. That is a
NASCAR's
problem
very
with golf.
NASCAR is also very special too. It's like you're literally just watching cars go around a circle over and over again. You're like, oh, did you see that? And it's like, yeah, they've been doing it for the last 155 times.
Yeah,
I
but
get it.
also no, they're going like 200 miles an hour. I'm not seeing shit. You know, if
But
you're
also,
there,
do you feel that way about horses?
what, like if
Like
horses are
watching a
dumb?
horse go around a that's funny.
Oh,
Watching them go around the track. Are you like, okay, I've watched them go around the track? It's different.
I'm
Why?
okay with horses because I can gamble on them. That's pretty cool. You know?
No,
Yeah.
this goes back to me being bigger than the jockeys. And
Nice.
I can take on
Mm.
all these jockeys, because I am bigger than them. Because jockeys by design are very short guys.
They're teeny tiny. They're like
I'm in.
travel size.
You slim down a little bit. Maybe you could be a jockey, dude. Thought about that?
The only way it would be cool if I'm on a horse is if I have a sword.
That is pretty
If
cool.
I'm sitting on a horse just by myself, looks lame, dude. It's like, hey, look at Ridey McGee over here, riding a horse like he's a big deal. If I have a
You should
sword,
be a jockey for Halloween.
Find your
I
biggest friend, and you guys can be a combo. You know, jump on
Whoa,
his back.
fuck horses in the chat.
Yeah.
I love a good horse. Are you do you ever not do you ever see a horse and not go, "Oh, look at that horse."
I don't think I know anybody who's ever said "fuck horses" like in this way, at least. You
I've
know,
never
this isn't a mean way.
I'm shocked. But also that's true. I guess with horses it's like a race for one lap. It's not like a bazillion.
Maybe
Usually
he's saying
it's
like
done after one.
"fuck horses," like in a
No.
sexual way.
No. The
Fuck.
interspecies erotica is not where we're at. If you guys are Clerks 2
Maybe
fans,
that's a spooky-
we're not into interspecies erotica.
It could be fuck horses. Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
Right?
comma. But there's a
Yeah.
period there, bro. That's fuck horses.
Well, I mean, okay, like,
yeah, that
it's
sounds like a
it's
command.
maybe for all we know, Spooky is like a huge Christopher Reeves fan, and a horse is
That's
what
true.
did that to Christopher Reeves.
A horse hurt him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was like a horse did hurt him. Like, remember when a stingray killed Steve Irwin? People were on a stingray hunt and essentially like punching stingrays and killing them because they killed Steve Irwin. Like, they knew, but maybe that's the thing. Like, maybe he just had a terrible experience with a horse.
Could be. Did you guys
I don't
catch
know,
anything with the
man.
Razzies? You guys care about the Razzies?
What is that? I saw that in there. I've never heard of the Razzies.
The Razzies is it's a yearly award of a similar time to the Oscars that they award the shittiest movies awards.
Oh shit, like the
And
inverse Oscars?
it's opposite Oscars, right? So like the Razzies this year, I mean it's not like serious, but also like, the celebrities will show up there and like accept the reward or the awards. And I just thought it was funny. I didn't like watch the whole thing. I just looked at the headline. But did you guys see Madam Web, Joker 2, or Megalopolis? Because those ones took everything, basically. Have you guys seen any of these movies?
I don't even know Megalopolis, but I know Joker 2 was the musical, and I know Madam Web was the shit show that was Madam Web.
I watched
Yeah,
Madam
same.
Web this year just because they say it's so bad. It truly is that fucking bad. The movie
Really?
just is terrible. Yeah, nothing makes sense.
Damn.
She randomly goes to like Brazil or Chile or something, and just she takes like she steals a taxi cab like in New York, drives to the airport, parks it there, goes to Chile, finds some random shaman guy, and then comes back and the taxi's still there. Like they know the assassins are after them, but they're just dancing in a Denny's. Like nothing makes sense. I don't know if it could have been a good movie, but it was dreadful. But it was like funny also. It was funny bad. So I was okay with it.
I haven't heard also about Megalopolis, so that's probably why it landed on that list. But I have similar to Mark, like I know what the exposure has been for these or what the commentary has been on these two, like Madam Web and Joker. Like I feel so bad when that happens because I know that these like all of the actors that are on set, right? Everybody that's helping with the production, they're working so hard. And
Yeah.
I don't, whoever the main person is for Madam Web, like she was talking about, is it the third
Dakota
Fanning?
Johnson.
Oh, wait, it was Dakota Johnson?
Yeah, apparently she fired her publicist or whatever after this movie because it was so bad.
Dang. Who co-stars with her?
Sydney
Sydney
Sweeney.
Sweeney's in that movie,
Hmm.
Sydney Sweeney.
and I
That's what it
love both of
was.
them actually.
So
Well,
Sydney, she was talking about how this was like a big break for her to get into the Marvel universe and not just be taken as like the romantic love interest or like the booby like slutty girl, and
hey,
like then it turns
hey,
into,
play the cards you
this
dealt.
kind of stuff. But and then also same thing for like Joker, like Lady Gaga commenting on like, what do you think about everybody thinking this movie's trash? And she's like, sometimes your movie lands and sometimes your movie doesn't land, and you can only like look at it for the work that you put in and this and that. And then I was like, damn. And then I didn't know the Razzies even exist. So like imagine being Lady Gaga and then getting the Razzie for Joker, like, ah, that hurts, dude.
Worst
That hurts.
picture. Madam Web won worst picture. That's the award.
I think that's good for
Pretty
Lady
tough.
Gaga. I say this as a monster in my own right. I do like Lady Gaga. When her first movie is A Star Is Born and she gets all this critical acclaim, you've
She
got
peaked,
this
man. That's
extremely high
crazy.
peak that you have to be humbled, and I think this is a good pendulum swinging to kind of humble her. So
Balance.
I
that
don't
will
know
give you
why they made it a
points.
musical. It would have been fine if they just stuck to what was working. The musical thing and the trailers and commercials didn't even make it seem like it was a musical. It's a very strange choice. I think they deserve all the hate, to be honest. Not
Ooh,
not
false
Lady Gaga, but
advertising.
just like the movie
Yeah.
itself. They fucking tricked everybody, kind
I
of.
want someone in the movie industry. Um, like we could have them on here for like a 5 minute interview because I want to know when in the movie process, the movie making process, do you know that it's going to be bad?
Hmm.
Because it's I feel like if we put on a bad podcast to live and talk in LA, which you can find on Apple Podcast, Spotify, however you get your podcast, and leave us 5-star reviews and comments. Just putting it out there with a little addendum. Um, I feel like we would know in the first 10 minutes of the show, like this is kind of going south, and we got to do something and fix it.
Hmm.
In the movie, you're filming for 6 months. So at what part of the movie process is, or maybe you're like when you're editing a movie that this is bad? Like when do you know? Because I feel like you have to know early this is going to be a shit show.
I don't
Well,
know, because you can get lost in the
they
vision.
read the script, right? But I think it's like reading the script doesn't tell you everything because you can make it a shitty movie. You can edit it and fuck it all up. I do want to call out K Fred in the YouTube chat says Madam Web was a Sony film but marketed as a Marvel picture. It was only in association with Marvel, which is true. So I think like Dakota
That's why it was
Johnson
poor.
and
That
Sony, all the
sucks.
Sony, I mean not all of them, but a lot of them are pretty shit. Some of the X-Men ones are okay. But like I think they told everybody, "Oh, this is like a Marvel movie." And Madam Web, and it's like related to Spider-Man in a way, and they
She
thought,
did
"Oh, this is dope," and then
now
they got tricked.
she did girl math on booking the movie. It's like
Pretty much.
Marvel.
Marvel, yes, I've been
Oh my
waiting.
god.
No, the problem was she
Yes.
let a man do it
Yeah,
for her, probably. Was her manager a man? That makes
probably.
sense. And also in the chat, throwing it back to like the Lady Gaga and the movies she's done post her, I think it was after A Star is Born. I don't know. Fact check me on that. The House of Gucci. I looked that up. Lady Gaga was also in that.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was also nominated for 2 Razzies in 2022. Worst Supporting Actor for Leto, who won the award. Worst Screen Couple was the second one, which would have been Leto and Lady Gaga. But
God, Jared Leto, so bad. Um,
that I didn't even know that was him when I watched
also,
it.
also on this Razzie this year is Unfrosted. Did you guys watch Unfrosted with Jerry Seinfeld?
No.
He got
No,
so much shit for this fucking movie too, and I'm like, I don't know why he did it. He's so picky about everything. He must have thought this was really good, because Amy Schumer and Jerry Seinfeld got Razzies for this movie. Worst actor and supporting actress. So the acting must have been terrible.
really?
Supporting actress Amy Schumer, excuse me. Worst actress was Dakota Johnson, Madam Web. She was pretty flat. I think that's just kind of how she is, though. So I don't know. It's hard to gauge with her. I don't know what people really like about her, but she's cute. But yeah, worst actor Jerry Seinfeld.
That's crazy.
Graffiture liked it. I don't know.
Wow, Unfrosted was good, huh?
I don't know. I trust Graffiture, but
You just
I've
put me on something new. I'm tuning into the Razzies every year. I'm here
yeah,
for that. I
I
don't
think it's
care
pretty
about the
fun.
Academy Awards outside of like the outfits and the tea. But the Razzies is like drama in and of itself. I want to see
And
that.
I
But
think
man,
we're
I
more
feel bad.
likely to see these movies too, the Razzie movies, than the Oscar movies, because these
Yeah,
are
you're
all
right.
so
Why
like
have I seen these more?
stuffy.
You're totally right.
Yeah. So it's for the normies
Yeah, movies
like me. You
like
know.
Academy Awards, like you got to be super artsy and it has to like tackle like some endangered animal or a sex worker, and then it'll be nominated for Best Picture
Yeah.
and it wins all the shit.
Wait,
Yeah,
that's such a
It's
good
always like
point.
heavy stuff. They make them for this. Sorry, go
Do
ahead, Evelyn.
people show up to like accept a Razzie? Like, is
Yeah,
that a thing?
sometimes.
famously,
Stop.
famously, Halle Berry showed up to accept the Razzie in Worst Acting for Catwoman.
Yeah.
No, Catwoman was a Razzie.
Dude, actually,
Pretty
it's
fucking
funny because
bad.
I've
I
never seen
fucking love
Catwoman,
that movie.
and I was like, I can't remember. So then you remember the scene because I saw
The
this clip on
basketball
YouTube.
thing.
The
Yeah,
basketball scene.
it's so fucking bad, dude.
I don't even
Oh my
remember shit.
god.
The only redeeming thing about that movie is it's Halle Berry being Catwoman.
Mm. And she's like actually catting around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
she's
there's like
like
this
fucking
weird.
clawing and like here's some shit.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch this basketball scene. There's this basketball scene where she's like dancing but playing basketball with this dude, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's like a minute and a half long. I think it's pretty long.
She literally
Um,
acts like a cat in public with a basketball.
yeah, spooky. Catwoman might be worse than Madame Web. You might be right. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while, but it was pretty rough.
It was good
She's
when it came out. It was
she's not
different.
my favorite Catwoman.
Yeah, I see Michelle Pfeiffer is goaded in the chat for
Mm,
Catwoman.
it's true.
Yeah,
Since we're
her
on the
too.
Hollywood train, we didn't talk about it last week, but we had a loss in the celebrity world.
Yeah, man. A couple actually.
First one, Michelle Trachtenberg. That one happened before actually did the show. We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was scared to talk about it because I actually wanted to bring up the celebrity rule of three, which is
Hmm.
when a celebrity dies, celebrities die in three. So Michelle Trachtenberg died on Tuesday. So it's a good way to start off League of Ridiculous Conversations to feel good. That do go live on
Hmm.
Tuesdays.
Hmm.
Mm.
She dies, Harriet the Spy. I didn't realize she was on Gossip Girl.
Yeah,
Isn't
man.
that like her big thing? Oh,
No, no
Buffy,
way.
right.
Buffy was
I have no
huge for
idea who
her.
she is until she died. So I'm just gonna put it out there. I did
Her
not know who she
big
was.
things were those three. So
Yeah.
you either knew her from Harriet the Spy being really young,
What is
or
that?
you,
Is that a show?
yeah. I think,
I've
right?
never heard of
Television
that.
show?
Which
Maybe
one?
it's a movie. Harriet the Spy.
Harriet the Spy was a movie.
Okay, movie.
Okay.
Then Buffy was like her next like thing after that that was
Yeah.
big. And
Mhm.
then after that, she did like this ongoing role on Gossip Girl. But if you're not like a young gal, what do you like? Buffy was huge, but maybe you missed the wave barely, Vic, because we were pretty young when Buffy was
I wasn't into
around.
that shit. I was playing PlayStation.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
even watching
like,
TV.
yeah.
Sarah
My
Michelle
sister
Gellar?
was into that.
Yeah.
Dude, Buffy's the shit.
Yeah,
All
she's
right.
good.
It's like
Angel, dude, amazing. But yeah, those were her big things, I think, for the most part. And I was like, damn, she really is in all those.
the next death that happened a couple days later. I think it was after we did the show. Gene Hackman died,
Yeah, man.
and that one is a weird death because he, him and his wife were both dead, and a dog was dead. So I haven't really read any updates since it, but all I even know is that they found Gene Hackman dead,
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
his wife,
three.
and his wife was younger than him,
Substantially. Yeah.
substantial, like
It's like
30 years.
20, 30 years. Yeah.
And
Probably
so
like a
she's
gas
dead.
leak or something. That's what
But
I
they
think.
said that I last I read that they didn't even say it was a monoxide thing. So what
They would
killed her?
know pretty quick. Yeah. On any of those gas things, I think they test that immediately. Like if it's radon or
Three
whatever, or
possible causes of death.
yeah.
Holy.
Okay, is the third celebrity who I think it is? Because here's my problem with the three celebrity thing: is that two celebrities die, and then someone just wrangles in someone else who died, and is like, "This is someone who knew a famous person." They're, what's her name's husband? Is he a celebrity or is he just her husband?
Wait, who are you talking about?
Dolly Parton, didn't Dolly Parton's husband die, or who is it?
No,
Some
I'm not
old.
talking about
Oh, that wasn't the
Oh,
third.
who's the
Yeah.
third? Who's the third?
George Lowe, voice actor for Space Ghost.
I
Oh,
didn't know what that was when he
I
said
don't know
that.
if he's well, maybe he is. He might have been in more stuff. I love Space Ghost though. Well, not really,
He's
but I like it. I like it. It's fun.
celebrity. So the real,
Yeah.
so I guess the question for it was which celebrity death has affected you the most in your lifetime?
Affected me. The one I remember the most is Michael
Mm.
Jackson. Like that's the one that I remember.
Oh,
I was like, oh shit. Like
mhm.
celebrities die. Like that was my big like, oh my God, like that person's gone from the world and they're like huge historically.
Yeah.
But affected me the most.
Well, I mean, like that you would. I mean, I don't know. Death affects everyone differently, right? I don't know if like it broke your heart or something, but like I mean, that's a pretty monumental moment. But has there ever been a celebrity death that you're like, I'm sad.
Yeah, Brittany
I'm
Murphy.
sad.
Brittany Murphy was a hard one
Mm.
for me. I was like, damn, she's so good at what she does. She was so troubled and trapped in so many things. Everything was super sus. Like, I felt like, yeah, Aaliyah. I see Aaliyah and Left. I know that was a huge one. Like, I don't think I was too young for that one when it was happening. But
Mhm.
Brittany Murphy, I was like,
The
I
only one I
know.
can think of is Kobe.
wow, that's
Um,
pretty recent.
Otherwise, I'm looking at a list actually now because I'm like, who died that
You
I
know what
forgot
though?
about?
Actually, the YouTube chat is popping. Robin Williams was
Oh
huge.
yeah,
And
damn.
Heath Ledger
Mhm.
made me sad. Like I remember I was
Yeah.
like, dude, he's one of the best. Like that Batman is hands down best Batman. I literally was like,
I, I, and I'm not laughing at Heath Ledger. The reason why because it made me think. Heath Ledger's death was the first time me and two of my dudes, Javi and Carlos, went to Vegas, and it was right when Heath Ledger died. I wasn't even 21 yet. I was 20. The only person that was 21 was Javi. So he was the only one who could buy beer and so we could bring him back to the room. But we dedicated the trip to Heath Ledger.
Wow.
aw, that's
So we
actually
did
really sick.
that one is it. The one that like really stuck with me, like I mean Kobe was one thing. I was in the gym when Kobe died. It was a Sunday morning. I always remember this shit. And like I remember someone yelled, "Kobe's dead." And I was like, and as I looked at my phone, the TMZ notifications came up. The one that really fucked with me was Bernie Mac. I don't know if you guys
Hmm.
are big Bernie
Aw,
Mac
that one was
fans.
sad. Yeah.
I remember
He
that
was young too.
because because there's all these deaths that like have been burned in my brain. And when Bernie Mac died, I was working at Starbucks, and I remember like and this is before smartphones, so
Mhm.
like you kind of just heard news as it happened, right? Like randomly, like when he got home. And my friend, shout out to Scribblefro, who makes our
Mhm.
doodles.
Mhm.
He came into Starbucks I was working, and he just immediately told me, "Dude, Bernie Mac's dead." And I was like, "What?" And that freaked me out. So Bernie Mac dying was kind of a mind fuck for me.
I remember thinking that was a prank. I remember being like, nah, he's not dead. Like, there's no way. And then, like, you go home, you looked it
Mhm.
up on the internet at that stage, and you're like, holy crap. That was a big one. And that one makes me sad anytime I see the Bernie Mac show, like on live television, if you guys still have that. Yeah, that one stings to this day. There's a bunch of good ones in the chat too, like Stanley. That one at least, like it was
True.
kind of we saw that one coming. Betty White similarly, right? They were hard to let go, but at least you're like, damn, those folks are older.
Yeah, I think the young ones are the ones that stick with me more. The old ones, I'm like, I mean, if you're like a celebrity and you're super rich and you die when you're like 60 plus, I'm like, hey, he got a nice fun ride out of it, probably. It's okay.
Captain Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That bummed me out.
Yes, that's another one. Damn, this is a real bummer end to the show here, but
Sorry.
yeah, I am sad about that one too. That's true.
Well,
Chadwick
there's
Boseman, that was another sad one. Young man.
and then you have your like
Steve
the
Irwin.
Chester from Linkin Park, and you have Paul Walker. You have Bradley from Sublime. Like those were a lot of it. Amy Winehouse, that was a big one too.
Yeah.
That's the 27 rule, right? Like celebrities that die at the age of 27. I think Aaliyah was part of that too. Or is
This
it
list I have.
23? Shoot.
Mhm.
I don't know what number it is. 20 something. This list, we're running out of people. It has James Dean listed on here. No black and white pictures. That doesn't count. Too old.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Anybody else? Should we for this visual we're doing?
Now I
Yeah.
just feel bad that that's a good place to end is going to be talking
Well,
about
you
the
know,
end for so
I,
many.
I think you're right because we have pillow talk coming up, so I think that is a good place to end. E. Remember your celebrity deaths is what we want to do. Okay, you know, let's cleanse our palate. Let's all make the face of emoticon with capital D. There you go. See, you feel better when you actually if you're ever dealing with the sadsies, just do capital D face.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it happen.
And I challenge you to still be sad after making that face. I feel like you will be a lot happier when you do it. So that's your palate cleanser, guys. All right, that's a good place to end. Who wants to take us out today?
Wow, I'm just feeling so many emotions right now. Anyways, we're to live and talk in LA, you guys. You can find us every Wednesday at 7:30 on Twitch and YouTube live. The recording comes out on Thursdays, so look for us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can check it out there. Finally, show us some love on our social media. We got some great reels going out. Thanks to Evelyn. She's cooking in the lab, making some cool stuff. So check it out, everybody. Please. Oh, and give us some reviews. If you guys are listening, review us, please. Give us some stars on podcast app, whatever you do. Anywhere is cool. We'll take it. Literally anywhere. It's fine. Good reviews are good reviews. Anyways, thanks, guys. Peace.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
You know what? I nominate Smile movie to be in the Razzies.
What? I like that movie.
I haven't even seen it, but it just freaks me out.
Dude, that shit is actually pretty
Is it good?
it's pretty hardcore, I would say.
It's
Like, some of them-
freaky.
not like I watched it with you know who does not like horror movies. I think I watched that with her and her dad or something, and we watched both of them back to back because it was in theaters. It was pretty dope, but it is actually pretty intense. Some of the visuals are pretty rough compared to what I was expecting, so I like that about it.
Even the billboards did me dirty. Like I would
Yeah.
just see the billboards and I was like, ew.
I think if
Or
you're
like I'd get an
squeamish, it's
ad
not
on
good.
TikTok and I'm like, ew, why are you smiling at me like that? Like,
Yeah,
do this
It's
exercise.
creepy.
It's for everybody who's still around right now.
Okay.
Do this exercise. Go to your mirror, the closest mirror to you, and just smile. Like not a real legit smile, just like a kind of neutral smile, not the D, right? Emoji
Okay.
face, but like a real smile and
Okay.
hold it and like just look at yourself for 10 seconds. 11 if you want to make it magical, right? It gets weird.
She's trying to get you to hate your face, guys. Don't do it. It's like if you say your
It's
name
just
10
like
times in a row, it just sounds
it's
like
like
noise.
you start thinking like, is that like when that
me?
like can I trust that person? Is that me or is that just some other universe trying to pretend it's me? The eyes are dead. It is me. I don't know. Maybe that's just Evelyn, but
This is a good exercise, yeah, because if you do that, you look at yourself for 10 seconds, you think, hey, you look pretty cool. You've got good mental health. And if not, then now you need to go see a therapist, you know?
but hold the smile, like the
Yeah.
dead smile, because that's what they do. Like it's like they smile with their mouth, but they don't let it touch their eyes, and they're just like, it's weird.
Yeah. Or try doing it on your loved ones, like in a dark hallway or going down the stairs or something. Just look
Yeah,
like
just
that.
pop out, lay on the floor when you know they're coming home at night. Just
I was doing that for days after we watched that movie. I love that about horror movies. Like if we watch
awful.
we watch Halloween, I would just be behind something and then I would just be gone. You know, like Mike Myers, he's just looking and then he's gone all the time, moving around. I love doing that. I love imitating the serial killers in the horror movies or just the bad guys. It's really fun.
I would lose my shit. Like I cannot. I'll watch like horror movies. Like I've tried watching them as an exercise, so I'm not like I fucking hate horror movies. Now I kind of know. I jump scared a
love
lot,
horror
but I
movies.
know what's going on. That one freaked me out, man. I'm telling you, try the exercise. Come back. Let us know.
I love horror movies so much that I'm out of horror movies. I look for horror movies. Now I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel, like watching like just random shit that comes up on Hulu, and they're mostly bad, you know. And I'll stick with it because I'm just bored. I'm watching them at like midnight, just on my couch, you know, whatever. Man, I'm itching for a good horror movie. I do want to clarify really quick. Best Catwoman, Anne Hathaway. That's where I'm at. Just take that, Chad. Do what you want to
Oh,
do. What a freaking babe, dude. Whew. Man.
I love Anne Hathaway. I saw her in person once. She's gorge.
Did you
You
feel
saw
the
her in
earthquake on
person?
Sunday night? Ooh. What?
You saw her? Wait,
Tell us
hold
that
up.
story.
Yeah, tell us that story. You saw Anne Hathaway.
Well, I went to, this is also a morbid note. I once upon a time went to a women's liberal arts college
Nice.
while a woman was running for presidency in the state of Pennsylvania. So Anne
Mm.
Hathaway was campaigning at my women's college for a woman president as a boss woman. I did give her her own personal space because I feel weird about celebrities getting like flocked and everybody was like around her like and she's like doing the like the queen kind of moment, right? Like it was so Princess Diaries. And I was just like, oh my God, this could be Princess Diaries. And then I felt bad. I'm like, she's just a human. So I left, but and then Hillary lost.
Yeah. Well,
Mm. But
it's not
who's
your
the
fault.
But she's gorgeous and I
She
love
is a
seeing her
freaking babe. Yeah, that's really all I'm talking about. Spooky. You're not wrong, but we're measuring these Catwomen by different things. I think, you know. Someone in
well,
YouTube chat asked, "Oh, Mark, go."
no, you go for it.
Well, I was gonna say YouTube chat had suggested a topic for us. Did you feel the earthquake on Sunday? I did. Did you guys?
I was asleep.
God, I got it.
He hates talking about this.
No, it's because like we've talked about this.
Yeah.
This happens all the time. Are you awake? That question. That question is, I am awake now because you woke me
Trigger
up.
him. Yeah.
And she's like, did you feel the earthquake? And I said, yes. And I tried to go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm not a real big earthquake reactor. There was 3 people in our house because one of our friends was crashing here. Everybody felt it. Nobody said shit. Nobody got out of the room. Nobody did anything. I was in the living room. There's one in each bedroom. Apparently, we were all awake and we all felt it, and we didn't say a peep. And I love that because I just get up, I look around, I look at the cats. They're both like this. And then we're like, all right, whatever. Back, press play. You know what I mean? Unless it's a big one, I'm not going to get up off the couch.
Dude, I'm a dog. I just start like going, and I like run around and I hit something. I'm like, do I stand under this thing? And then I'm like, well, I don't know if this is a load bearing wall. So I just like do that and then it stops. And then I'm like, oh, okay, do I have to hide? And then it doesn't come back. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm good.
They've been so short lately that I don't even have time to get up and get somewhere. By the time I stand up, which I don't, I usually sit up. And then I wait for another shake. And if it keeps going, okay, then I'll stand up, right? That's probably going to get me killed. I'm going to die in an earthquake going like this.
Is
Just
it?
looking, feeling, and then I'm going to get hit by a rock or something, because I'm too slow to react.
Earthquake comes up. Vic goes and starts smiling at himself in the mirror and just waiting to see
Ah,
what happens.
I just wait. Can we debunk this? Are we supposed to get in the doorway or not? I feel like I've
Yeah.
heard that growing up, and I heard that's not a thing anymore.
It's a yes if the wall that you're under has like support, right? So I think if it's a load bearing wall, is that right? Where they
You got
have
to
like
check
the
your walls,
main
dude.
beams. And I was like, wait, nobody told me that fucking caveat when
Yeah.
like they were saying go stand in the door frame only if it's like a structurally sound door
I
frame.
thought it was
Because
just
if you
frames. Yeah, door frames.
because if
I,
you're in the wrong one, they'll collapse. I looked it up because I
What?
heard this and I was like, wait,
Oh.
yeah. So not even the doorways are safe.
You
That's
know
why I go,
what? You can't go wrong with the table. Just get under the table. Do you have a table?
yeah.
I, I can check my door frame with my Allen wrench.
There you
See if
go.
it supports
You
it.
just hit it on the wall and listen for sounds, dude.
Ding 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 dong. Oh, there you go. That's what
We
it
should
is.
do a Pictionary segment where we have Mark draw what he thinks the tools look
Dude,
like.
Yeah.
I can't draw anything. All right, that's one of my shortcomings in life. Like, I can't draw anything. Uh, I don't know how where you guys are in your art game, but I cannot draw to save my life.
I can't draw for
That-
shit, but I got an art degree. And that was my mistake. That's my cross to bear.
Your
But
cross-eyed
I
bear?
can't draw for shit. Yeah.
I like that. It's like a weird alpha omega situation.
Yeah.
Like,
But I will try. For the sake of the show, I will try. Um,
Third
I
eye
was gonna
portal
ask,
says you're not supposed to get in the doorways because it'll hit you in the face and knock you out. So maybe that's
Yeah, like the door could swing back and take you
see?
out too. Yeah, dude, just go outside if you can. Or, I mean, that's the best advice I have. Try to
yeah.
get outside if it's easy and quick, but if not, stay put.
It's like eggs. When I was growing up, eggs were good for you. Then they went through a phase of eggs being bad, and now they're good for you again. And
Are
now they're
they?
expensive.
It's
Yeah,
just
I
marketing.
thought eggs
It's
were
just
like high
marketing.
in cholesterol or something. You're not supposed to eat them. I eat eggs all the time, but
I
It's like
know.
milk, where they're like, you shouldn't drink milk
God,
after a
I
certain,
love
like,
milk.
shut up. Or like carbs, when people try to say like carbs are bad for you. Like, you need carbs, my dudes. It's a
Dude,
calorie thing.
all I've eaten today is fucking carbs, man, and I love it.
Dude, I wasn't back in the box. It's Ash Wednesday. I
Besides
know
that, that's true.
we didn't get religious out here, but
No,
I didn't go get this thing and I feel like a guilty Catholic school person.
Well,
you could just do it with some toothpaste or something.
Instagram blessed me with Ass Wednesday.
Nice.
Oh, that's a
See,
good
that's
one.
my
Good
kind of
one.
holiday. That's my religion, baby.
Well, let's
So.
do we have like a good celebrity story we can tell before we end? Like of like, hey, I met this celebrity.
My favorite celebrity I met is Tyrese. I met Tyrese at
Mm,
Universal Studios Hollywood at the peak of like Fast and the Furious
You did.
era. And yeah, and the female, I don't know her name, the female, like Vin Diesel's love interest, they were both there. And they
Rodriguez.
autographed, yeah, something Rodriguez. They autographed my Universal Studios caricature
Oh,
back in the day when the Gibson Amphitheater was still around. That was the sickest. That's my great, like, actual, like, huge celebrity moment.
Victor?
I once saw, um, what the hell's her name? Elizabeth Olsen at my favorite bagel shop on Ventura Boulevard. I didn't talk to her. I
Ooh.
just stared at her from a distance. She's a babe. Yeah.
Just,
I was like, I mean, my best friend was there. I was like, the Red Witch is here, and he's like, it's actually the Scarlet Witch, okay? And then I was like, dude, but that's her. And then I drooled all over my bagel. I also one time, not too far down the street, also Ventura Boulevard, I saw Shia LaBeouf walking across the street with a sandwich in his hand from Mendo. So
from
Ventura,
Mendo?
he goes to
That
Mendo. Yeah,
that aligns with my expectations.
there you go. That's about
Gravature
it.
met Gravature met Joe Coy at the Americana Barnes and Noble. I actually met Joe Coy too with my mom at
What?
the Americana. I remember I was like, "Hey, Joe, like me and my mom were a big fan. He was like such a nice guy." And he said hi, and we didn't even take I didn't even ask him for a picture. He just said hi. I don't want to tell him, I've done comedy myself, so like I feel like we're kind of like peers here because we're Filipino and you're extremely successful, and I'm doing a podcast on To Live and Talk in LA. So it's practically the same thing. I met you guys know this? I met Chad Kroger from Nickelback.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you told us
I
that one
met
once upon a
somebody.
time.
that's the
I
most
don't
famous.
talk to them.
Like
I'll
I talk to them.
share I'll share Worldwide Handsomes, which I don't know if you guys Star Wars fans, but guy saw Natalie Portman at a gas station, bro.
That's
From
cool.
afar and didn't say a word, just gawked.
Yeah, that's the thing with me too. What am I gonna say to them? I don't want to talk to them.
I
They're
just
not
feel
gonna
bad
remember
because they don't
me.
know
They just
me. Like I know them,
Mhm.
but they don't know me.
they don't
Yeah.
care about us. That's what I think. Like when I go talk to them, they're like, "Oh, thanks, okay," and they're
Mhm.
just like waiting for you to leave. I feel like usually, if they're nice, that's cool. But I still think they're probably like, "God damn it, another one of these fucking people." Just
Yeah,
say
can't go
nice things
anywhere,
until they
dude.
go away. Yeah, like they
Well,
just want to exist. I think.
I met, speaking of Cody Rhodes earlier, I don't know if you guys probably don't know him directly, but I met Cody Rhodes when I was working at the Apple Store. So, and I remember like I was talking to him like, "Hey man, just to let you know, I'm a fan," and he was the nicest guy ever, and
Wow,
he
that's cool.
he like talked to me about wrestling, and he was because he was right when he left WWE, and I was like, "Oh, that's like," I was like, "Man, that's cool. Like you're out there
That's a
independence doing your
cool
thing,"
one though,
and he
because
was
he
like,
probably
"Yeah."
doesn't get that all the time.
Yeah, and it was like when he was just like he wasn't who he was now. Like if you're a wrestling fan, you knew him, but he wasn't
Mm.
popular like he is now.
Hmm,
So that was it. But Chad Kroger buying me beers was like the best thing ever.
that's cool.
That was a fun
That's pretty
time.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, pumping her own gas.
Are
Wow.
we sure it was her? Because there's like three people that look just like her. Could have been The other one.
Keira Knightley, not Natalie Portman.
Yeah, it could have been Padme or Queen Amidala. We don't know.
Yeah, it could have
Well,
been
they're
either
the.
or. The
You
queen
know what I'm
pumps her own
saying.
gas. I don't know.
I don't know.
No, Spooky is asking if Chad Kroger's working at the Applebee's I was working at. No, like, I don't know. Do we have time for me to tell that
Did you
story?
work at Did you work at Applebee's?
No, Apple, but I don't know.
Oh,
Busy
that's
time.
funny.
Yeah, good copyright coverage right there.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, he bought me. Like, maybe I'll tell the full story again on the podcast later. But I went up to him, tried to take pictures. He accused me of trying to make fun of him, and I said, "No, I just wanted to take a picture with you." Like, I was. He says, "Are you really a fan?" And I told him, "I'm not like the biggest fan. I like your hits. I think that's cool." And he's like, but he told me sit down, and then he had this conversation with me. I was like, "That's it." And then he said, "All right." And then he ordered beers because he had the corner booth, and he was ordering beers. And he just said, "Get my boy Mark a beer," and we started talking. And he's like, "So, why do you think?" He legit asked me this question. He's like, Why do you think, like, what is a person like you in a blue state, like someone like me, where like a lot of people in a red state, like Republicans, like I was like." Music's music, dude. How You Remind Me is a banger. I was in middle school. That shit was dope. Like, I'm not gonna tell you I know your other songs.
Is
And
that
he's
like
like,
right-wing music? I think
that's
he's confused.
because I think cause it's kind of seen as country dad rock or something like that, and like that's probably it's not an LA vibe, you know.
That's true, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if that's an anywhere vibe. I feel like
Do
they need
you
to do some focus groups because I don't know
I
who that
think
is.
it worked because, and you guys correct me if you think this is wrong, but I think it worked because most of like our generation, for example, was in that gross ass, cringe ass like age range where you're like, you literally are feeling all of these things, but you don't vocalize it, and you're
Mhm.
hearing like
Real
feelings
grunge.
be articulated
Yeah,
for the first time, very grungy. And Nickelback did that. And Nickelback was aired on radios because they didn't cuss all the time. And they had like pretty deep looking like music videos, which was cool at the time. So it's like
yeah.
a perfect storm. They
I
kind
think
of got lucky.
they're like a gateway drug to the harder stuff, to
Yeah, like
Slipknot,
that's the
you know,
intro, the
whatever it
dip your
was.
toe in.
The
Yeah.
the be- the best part of the story was that it was Avril Lavigne's birthday, and they were celebrating her birthday, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like it's Avril. Like I was like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, it's Avril's birthday," and I was like, "He's dropping his first names like we're homies." I'm like, "Oh, like." And I was like, dude, I'm a huge fan of Avril. Like, I was like, I'm a bigger fan of Avril than you, bro. And
Facts.
and then like, yeah, I was like, oh, like, do you think it's cool if I ask her for a picture too? And he's like, I don't know, we'll see.
She was
And
there?
then she was there. It was her birthday, and she came by the table, and she was fucking pissed because he wasn't hanging out with her. And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, I'm just hanging out with Mark, babe. And he's like, he bought me like 5 beers at this point, and I'm
Wow.
like, and like,
Holy cow. Is this
I,
made up? This is made up.
no, I feel like because when I told you guys, you're like, yeah, I know the story. This is like a
No, I
whole
don't know the
saga.
story.
I didn't know this story. Yeah.
This is
You're gonna have to tell it on
yeah,
live
Yeah,
because,
I think you should.
yeah. And,
but
but
this
like,
is nice to give
yeah,
the teaser to our
Taste.
Pillow Talk folks.
and she leaves. So this is before they get divorced. And I was like,
Oh, they got divorced?
They got divorced. And
Spoilers, dude.
and I told him, I was like, do you think she'll take a picture of me? He's like, no.
Not anymore.
He's
She's
like,
like, I don't even think she'll take a picture of me.
yeah, she's pissed, bro. But like, I had this whole thing. Yeah, I'll tell it like in the future. But like,
Dude, that's so
it,
cool. Yeah,
it was
I
like
want to hear it all.
it
Don't
was a
save
whole
it.
fucking
Save it.
night. Save it. Really. That's I'm the reason they got divorced, essentially. So you never know.
And the reason is
All right.
you.
And then, but I'll post the photo in the story, and then I'll say, look at this photograph. It really makes me laugh.
They'll love that.
All right, Twitch stream, YouTubers. We'll see you next week. It'll be a.
Another
Thanks for
fun
cuddling with
Wednesday.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're like it was a rainy day, and we hung out together. I feel closer.
Bye, guys. That was a weird end. Okay.